Right, to save a life, listen to your wife. That's the key message of a new health and safety movement for rural women being launched today in New Zealand. Harriet Bremner from Safer Farms has partnered with Australians Alex Thomas to bring the hashtag Plant a Seed for Safety project across the ditch, and they both join us now. I'm super excited to have them both. Welcome.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
It's fantastic. Now I'm going to start with you, Harriet. Firstly, I want to go to your journey, Harriet, from the Hacker Valley to Safer Farms. There's been a few things that's happened over the course of the time. Can you briefly explain your journey to become what I believe is the National Ambassador for On-Farm Safety?
So I was a primary school teacher in the Harriet Valley down south in South Island, and my life took a very, very quick turn when I lost my long-term partner in a farming accident. Now, I went back teaching for a while. I went overseas, ran away, did all those things. And then I realised that I had this dream of writing children's books. So I started with a memorial book for James, Bob and Pops, and that's a story about friendship. From there, I then released my second book, Be Safe, Be Seen, about teaching children to make good decisions when they're out on the farm. This is all about tackling safety from a really practical point of view, because we know that box ticking and paperwork doesn't save lives. And recently I've released Use Your Voice, which is alongside the Will to Live Charitable Trust. So really exciting journey with my books, but along the way I bumped into Alex Thomas when I got approached for a job with Safer Farms by the amazing Tony Watson. And from there I've been on this incredible journey for hashtag Save a Life, Listen to Your Wife. And what a better thing than for people to listen to women.
Well, you've got a hard sell. I don't actually think. A lot of New Zealand rural males are gorgeous human beings and, of course, do pay attention to the input that can be had. But, of course, this Plant a Seed for Safety, I think, has a lovely, subtle message. Time to bring in Alex Thomas now from across the ditch. Alex, love to hear your story.
Hello, thank you so much for having us, Sarah. So I'm originally from a sheep station in South Australia's northeast pastoral. And not dissimilar to Harriet's story, I unfortunately know what sort of on-farm or on-station tragedy looks and feels like, as I've been a carer, a part-time carer for my disabled father since I was around 15 years old. But the positive from that is that I'm now, just as relentlessly determined as Harriet to make sure that rural men and women make safer and healthier choices. And a part of that is planting seeds in the minds of men, or everyone in general, to make those choices. And so that's where the Plant a Seed for Safety project was born from.
All right, we all know how stubborn males can be, and we're obviously being very sexist here, but let's just cut to the chase. Say for instance, Alex, we've got some pretty steep hills that they are cultivating compared to probably the rolling hills of South Australia. And you say, do you really think you should be going up there? And how much does that actually have an impact and over time make a difference to be able to plant that seed?
Look, I think we just have to continually ask the question. And I think with the rising of rural women, we're all becoming more confident in our roles, in our businesses, in our communities, and in our capacity as leaders. And I think we're already having lots and lots of conversations about health and safety. It's just about turning the volume up and perhaps shifting the narrative away from paperwork and box ticking and back to sort of the practical stuff that really makes sense in the context of rural industries and communities.
Harriet, of course, we don't want to sound like, nagging, but how is the appropriate way, do you believe, Safer Farms and your messages can be to communicate in an effective way that we get it?
I like to tell stories, and some of my friends love that. But storytelling is something that people have been doing for generations, and we know that stories get carried through from person to person when they have that real, authentic meaning to them. So I really, truly believe that what Alex has come up with in terms of attacking health and safety and well-being from a storytelling perspective is super powerful, because you're not just going in there and saying, you're going to get fined if you're not wearing a helmet on your quad bike. That's just going to get heckles up, right? So if we can get people sharing genuine stories, then I think people are going to stand up and listen to these and really take away messages from them, because, if something's genuine and authentic, then people listen.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's about not being embarrassed to share your near misses and probably celebrate them so that you can pass on to other people how to avoid.
Yeah, and, there's ways in which we can talk about these things, and with Safer Farms, we're approaching it from a different angle, and we're not talking about near misses. We're talking about the shit that kills you. And it's actually the dangerous stuff out there that we're doing all the time, every single day, and we do forget how dangerous it is because we do it all the time, and it becomes second nature. So let's just make sure that, we're having enough sleep, we're eating well, all our well-being's intact initially, so that when we do go out to do our job, we can make good decisions and reasonable ones when we're out on farm.
Alex, your involvement with rural women in Australia and, of course, travelling across and hosting a lot of events. What is some of those key messages where women can communicate, of course, as mothers, that, we don't want to have you lose your father?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think it's, as Harriet says, it's about keeping it real. And there are lots of common themes in the stories that we've had so far. And thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing yours. It's amazing. But some of the more sort of paramount ones have been women really understanding and appreciating the need to provide a comfortable environment where other people feel safe to speak up. And I guess the other part is around the regular conversations around the dinner table at Smoko, standing in the sheep yards, behind, even in the car on the way to wherever it is you're going. The importance of mental health is also very common, and of course, charging the UHF before you go out for the day and maintaining regular comms is also quite common.
What is your mission from today, the launch? What would you like to see flood in and on this campaign, and people watching and how they can support the campaign?
Oh, look, success to me is really just a vibrant conversation about health and safety that isn't about paperwork and box ticking or policies and penalties and fines, completely shifting the pendulum in the other direction, and getting women to lead that conversation. But moving forwards from here, if you're interested in getting involved, head on to plantaseedforsafety.com, and I implore all.
Oh, she's just frozen on us. And she had such a clear internet connection. I'd say actually one of the best we've had, Joel, up to date. I'd love to know what broadband speed she's in. I think we may have to go. Oh, you there, Alex? At least she's got a beautiful resting face.
Oh, no.
Oh, isn't that frustrating? Harriet, would you like to be able to close on Alex's behalf?
Yeah, so as Alex was saying, it's about changing the stigma that we've got attached to health and safety in both of our countries, and realising that at the end of the day, the main priority is to put people first. Take the paperwork and the box ticking out of your mind, put people first, and realise that our main goal is that we want people to come home alive at the end of the day so that they can sit down and have dinner with their families. And that's our main aim, yeah.
Alex is back with us now. Thank you so much, Alex, for your wonderful initiative, Plant a Seed for Safety, originating out of Australia. And how's that for some Anzac spirit? We share the same trials and tribulations as our Australian farming cousins. So coming together around a common message is fantastic. It's plantaseedforsafety.com. Go over and share your own journey and being able to lessen the stats where agriculture is the second largest industry of health and safety deaths in New Zealand.
This is Sarah's Country.